Welcome to the wrap-up, guys. This is your weekend movie news and pop culture show by me, Mr. H Reviews. If you are new here, please do hit subscribe. This is what I do here on the weekends. I just pull up a whole bunch of articles and we sit down and discuss them, whether they're very deep dive kind of content specific to a certain genre or movie or anything like that, or just industry news. Today, you read from the title, we've got some Godzilla King of the Monsters news, specifically about the design of Mothra. We've also got some interesting news with respect to Sonic the Hedgehog, which that's a never-ending story in and unto itself, isn't it? And then we've got this Netflix first look deal with Dark Horse Entertainment, which is industry news. This is big news, to be perfectly honest. Outside of that, I will touch on some Godzilla King of the Monsters reviews because they're starting to come in now, just from like your average movie reviewer. And I think there's been two that I've seen, which I think we'll discuss when we touch on the Godzilla King of the Monsters reviews. So like I said, if you're new here, hit subscribe, give this video a like, helps me out an awful lot. A lot more than you know, actually, because YouTube sucks. This is an informal show. Soon what we'll be doing at the end of this show is kind of like a viewer questions, I guess. If you do have any questions for the next one, then please do leave them down below on this video. But I really enjoyed the first one of these. You guys seem to as well, so I'm happy to bring it back. And let's just get into it. So Netflix inks a first look deal with Dark Horse Entertainment. Now this is big news for a number of reasons. One, big player, Netflix, arguably. Secondly, anyone that's familiar with my channel will be familiar with Dark Horse, generally speaking, because of Alien, Predator, and Terminator, things like that. Dark Horse have handled a lot of movie properties from 20th Century Fox. Now, this is not indicative of them handling any of those properties again, but it's still a big thing. It's still a really, really big thing. Now, this is over on Dread Central. Okay, so what does this mean for the industry? Let's take a look. Netflix and Dark Horse Entertainment have already demonstrated a fruitful partnership on projects like Polar and the Umbrella Academy. Polar, mixed. I wouldn't say overly fruitful relationship with Polar. The reviews were polarizing. And the Umbrella Academy has been a resounding success, I would say, for Netflix. If anything, that's the main focus here. Umbrella Academy has been a great thing. So today brings word that the streaming giant and the entertainment powerhouse have solidified their future by inking a first look deal. Now this is interesting for a few reasons, because Netflix already has a deal with is it Millar Properties. So that's surprising that they're now working with Dark Horse as well. I'm not overly sure of Dark Horse's original roster or how this is going to factor into it, but a first look deal from Dark Horse is huge. It really, really is. These things normally go just for studios. And in the world of Marvel and DC, you're talking, what? We've even got things, is it Valiant, like Bloodshot and things like that? I think it's Valiant. Like Bloodshot, like they've got, we've got first look deals all over the place now. But Netflix chiming in on that, big player now. So Netflix stated, we are very excited about this new arrangement with the talented people at Netflix. Oh no, so this is Dark Horse. Apologies. I haven't taken a look at these articles. I'm literally getting this news as we discuss it. So you get my genuine response and reaction. So Mark Richardson of Dark Horse Entertainment's president and founder. We have strong creative relationships as well as a large content library to work with. And as we have seen with our recent projects, Netflix is the perfect partner to bring our stories to fans around the world. With the Umbrella Academy and Polar, Netflix has pushed our content out into the world and allowed it to spread in a way that we've never experienced before. And we couldn't be more excited to bring a whole new slate of movies and shows, so that's important, to their worldwide audience. This is from Keith Goldberg, the senior VP at Dark Horse Entertainment. Now, really, really interesting. Like I said, Polarizing Reviews wasn't particularly the best. It wasn't. I enjoyed it for what it was, but it wasn't the best. Umbrella Academy seems to have been a resounding success just across the board. It really, really has been. Now, could this signify the likes of Top Cow, who have, I believe it's Top Cow, have the properties of the Darkness and the Witchblade. Could this signify them starting to move into the field? I think so. If the likes of Dark Horse, which generally speaking is not a powerhouse, it's not a huge comic platform, it's not that big. Yes, they handle studios, but they're not like a big player in the comic world. If they're getting first look deals in now, could Top Cow be coming forwards? I think so. I genuinely think so. There's long been talk of a Darkness movie, and there was even a really crappy Witchblade series over on Sci-Fi for a while. That was awful. But Jackie Estacado as the Darkness? Yes. I want to see that. Now, like I said, Dark Horse Entertainment, I'm not familiar with their original IPs. I'm not. I followed them mainly for their Terminator, the Predator and Alien stuff. So for this, I'm more interested in what this signifies for the wider industry. And the wider industry will be impacted by this hugely. I think this is really good news. But what do you guys think? Are you familiar with Dark Horse and any of their original IPs? Because if you are, one, what would you recommend to anyone else watching this to check out? But secondly, what would you actually want changed from publication to film? What would you want put to film? What do you think would be the best adapted as well? I'd love to hear your thoughts, so please do put them down below. Now, let's get on to Sonic the Hedgehog. Arguably, a movie which has had a lot of problems. Leaked posters, awful. Cause a lot of issues. Teasers, cause a lot of issues. Trailers, cause a lot of issues. Now it's been pushed back by 4 months, I think, from November to February, I believe. So from November to February. Good news, because they're going to go and redesign it. Now, one of the big complaints is obviously the face, very uncanny valley, has human teeth, not good. I did a trailer reaction to it, not good. Some nightmare fuel right there. But what they're going to be doing now, or what looks like they're going to be doing, is... Oh, what's that? Is that a pair of gloves? I think it is. It would seem Ben Schwartz, the chap who was voicing Sonic in the movie, coming to your movie screens on the 14th of the 2nd, so February 14th. And is that a glove I see? From our director, Jeff Fowler. Take a little more time to make Sonic just right. They are teasing the prospect of the gloves making a comeback. So there you go. Just pull it up a little bit more. They're teasing the gloves coming back. That's not going to save the film, obviously. But the fact that they're moving it so far back is a really good thing. It doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to be able to redesign the whole of Sonic. But that's a long time to push it back. Now, a lot of people had speculated that this was just a marketing stunt, just a marketing ploy. I don't think that's the case. I really don't think that's the case. I would have agreed that it was a marketing ploy if they just kept the same release date. Because then they would have just changed the face, or, you know what I mean? Things like this. But I genuinely think that they've gone, oh, crap. We don't want to be like everyone else in this. We need to sort this out. So... I'm not overly sure what this says for the project. They've got my respect, but I'm not sure whether this signifies anything positive or good for the end result. I still think they're kind of damned if they do and they're damned if they don't, because now people will just jump on the bandwagon and hate them for actually, caving to pressure, I guess. They really are damned if they do and damned if they don't. Now, before we get on to this news, which is Godzilla King of the Monsters, we are going to be discussing the reviews which have come in. Now, there's not a lot around. There's 2 over on YouTube from very, nobody channels. And I don't mean that, no disrespect, I just mean low subscriber counts. You're talking 40,000 to under 1,000 subscribers, right? So God knows how they even saw the film. But these people have come in. From what I can see, they're just movie reviewers. And interestingly enough, go and watch them for yourself. Okay, I promise you. One of them reviewed Aladdin like a 9 out of 10. Okay. But that same one that reviewed Aladdin a 9 out of 10 said the main issues with Godzilla 2014 was that there was not enough kaiju fights and there was too much human interaction, but then reviewed Godzilla King of the Monsters low because there was not enough human interaction and it focused mainly on the monsters. What? So take from that what you will. In my eyes, the people that have come back with their reviews, they, from what I can gather, again, it's just my opinion, it's from what I can gather, they don't really seem to have a basis of understanding of the Godzilla franchise itself. Where it came from, how the movies have always been in, you know, in the Eastern world, in Japan. So I take them with a pinch of salt. Take them with a pinch of salt. Because, again, they kind of set themselves up for an illegitimate review when your main complaints about the previous film have been succeeded in the new film, but that's part of your complaint. It doesn't make any sense. So I'd hold your horses on crying about the negative reviews, okay? I myself am going to go watch it on Tuesday. There's, actually, I believe it's the UK premiere. I don't really know what's happened there. I've not been invited. I've managed to tag along with an industry friend. So I'll be watching it on Tuesday and coming back. I will either do like a full-blown non-spoiler review and then a spoiler review or live stream. I haven't really decided yet. But if you want to stay tuned for my review, that'll be over on Tuesday. And you can see from my extensive work with the franchise itself on the channel. I've got loads of playlists about it that I'm somewhat familiar with the franchise. But that out of the way, because again, like I say, in fact, actually, I'll tell you what now. Tell me your thoughts on the movie reviews. Did they worry you? Were you aware of these other factors which I've mentioned? Drop your thoughts down below. So let's move on. Okay. How Mothra got lit for Godzilla King of the Monsters. God. This language is painful to read. It really is. I hate it. So, director Michael Dougherty and production designer Scott Chambliss tweaked the look of all of the outsized beasts featured in Godzilla King of the Monsters. Now, this isn't exactly brand new news. We've learned about the designs for quite a while, but they've never gone as deep dive as this on Mothra. So I thought this was interesting to pull as part of a discussion piece for, the wrap-up. So it states that the pair decided that a close to complete overhaul was required when it came to Mothra. So they actually they looked at Mothra as a design for the kind of Toho movies and just went, we can't put this out. We have to just change it, which is interesting because Toho have approved all of the designs. They've worked very closely with Legendary and Warner Bros. On this. So it says that in most of the iterations, Mothra was the least designed of the creatures. She looked like a real moth that had been blown up a zillion times. Fair. Absolutely fair assumption. Or fair assessment. So we approached each of these monsters as specific characters with their own innate characteristics that were manifested in their bodies. Mothra is traditionally seen as female. Yeah. And we wanted to give her that feminine presence and also grace. But of course, insane strength and a fearsomeness as well. Nice to see. We've learned about this for a while now. We know that, according to Michael Dougherty, that she would be a badass, basically. So, and we can see that in the Godzilla Knock You Out final look trailer. Which, guys, if you're gonna title something in the final trailer, don't then release another teaser, for God's sake. Ridiculous, guys, unbelievable. So it says, bringing those qualities out while remaining true to the idea. I'm not highlighting the text. Of flying Mothra was interesting. We went through more iterations trying to discover what the fine details of that were than we did any of the others. So they actually spent a long time on Mothra, more so than anyone else, which is, again, I find that to be really, really quite an intriguing concept that they would spend so long on a giant moth. It bodes well, I think. Again, off the back end of those kind of reviews, I think it just tells us that they really do care about this property, especially Mike Dougherty, anyway. Mothra has always been a always been beautiful from her very first film. That's always been how she sets herself apart from the other creatures. So where the other creatures definitely instill a sense of fear and terror, Mothra brings a sense of awe and wonder and beauty, this is all from Mike Doherty. This is what we got from the trailers. Absolutely she does. Even the way Millie Bobby Brown's character says Mothra is that kind of awe-inspiring, this wondrous... it's just the tone of the voice. You get it. And Mike Doherty clearly gets it. Really clearly gets it. He understands this property. It was important to me that her new design pays tribute to what came before, but I really wanted to introduce the concept that she's bioluminescent. Mother Nature has gifted bioluminescence to a lot of different animals, and I like the idea that Mothra really uses her bioluminescence to communicate, possibly even as a weapon. We know this, God rays. We know this for sure. Oh, was that it? Oh. Shame. I thought there was more to this than that. What a goddamn shame. Well, that's interesting. I genuinely would say that that's interesting. We knew that she was going to be using bioluminescence. Sorry, I didn't even realise that was the end of the bloody article. What a shitty piece from EW. Come on, EW. It could be longer than that. We knew that she was going to be using her God rays. It's interesting to hear that now, though, how they've taken a look at the bioluminescence and said, right, how can we use that as a weapon? How can we kind of project that across into the movie? I think this bodes really well. Like I said, take it with a pinch of salt, the reviews that are coming through. Take a look at their back catalogue of stuff. More specifically, not necessarily the back catalogue, because you're entitled to thinking that, you know, a movie's good or bad. I think some movies are entertaining that people think are downright, you know, pieces of trash, which is fine. It's not a big deal. But take a look at what these people are saying about their issues with Godzilla, and then what they're saying about Godzilla King of the Monsters. They don't really marry up, so take it with a pinch of salt. That's it here for me on the wrap-up. What do you guys think about all of this down below, especially the Mothra and the King of the Monsters reviews? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Sonic? Good? Bad? Can the glove save it? Who knows? But I'd love to hear your thoughts. And remember, Dark Horse, I want to hear some of the properties that are your favourites down below as well. I'd be really, really keen to hear. Guys, if you do enjoy this weekend wrap-up, this is what I'm going to be doing from now on, outside of extenuating circumstances. I pull 3, 4, a couple of articles, and we sit down and we discuss them. Fairly informal, very unscripted, as you can tell. Bit of a podcast. That's, you know, like I said, outside of extenuating circumstances, that's what we'll be doing here on the channel. So if you do like it, make sure to smash that thumbs up, because it tells me that you want to see this return. And if it gets enough likes, then I'll start to create a playlist for it, and it's just a thing which you can kind of go back and watch and things like that. But anyway, guys, thanks so much for watching. Give this video a share if you did like it. That helps me out. And I've been Mr. H. Take care.